06:10 on the UK time. It's JTV. So let us start by sharing our deepest condolences to all who has lost loved ones. Yeah. And as much as we have lost ones, there is also life that comes along as well. Yeah. Babies are born, right? So a moment of silence for life and death. The question I would like to ask, or is a question that I ask myself. I ask myself this question. The word coincidence. Right? That's the word coincidence. Right? Now, the reason why I've mentioned coincidence, because things are happening, right? Things are happening, but they never used to happen, if you catch my drift. Meaning, is there any such thing as a coincidence? Come on. Coincidence. Coincidence? Okay, you have another one, fate. Like fate with destiny. Fate, Fate. Now it's fair to say no one knows the second, the minute, or the hour when your time is come, your time come. It's fair to say we all want to go in a peaceful way. But if we look at the way how we are, We're not apart from animals, aren't we? Sometimes for myself, I look at some of the wildlife, and when I see the crocodiles eating the young, when I see the male lions eating the cubs, yeah, I just said, boy, look at that. Then the worst one is to watch this, say for an example, a python devour his meal. All right. Then you got the fishes in the sea. Huh? Small fish gets eaten by the big fish. So we are at war. It's fair to say we've never been out of war. It may not be a battle as we know a battle, or what we have seen as a battle. Is a different kind of battle. Same techniques, right? Just new technology. Now, you got your wildfires. Yeah, you got your wildfires. They do say most wildfires are caused by it could be human error. Yeah, the conditions have to be correct. Yeah, to ignite the flame. So let me catch a fire. So we had a derailment of a train. Yeah, train going in the same direction and smashes into the back of the other train. So I call the weeping rabbi. Yeah, man, shout out Mr. Swift. Shout out to Reginald. So he's a train spotter. So I decided to ask him about what happened there. So he said, look, it's a signal failure. And, you know, the authorities of the railway, they will investigate, and whatever they say, I saw it go. And look, this is a train enthusiast. So I was really stepping on a can. So I said to him, not everything that they tell you, okay, is exactly what happened. It's fair to say you just don't know. Sometimes things just happen. Sometimes things just happen. Right? Faults can be made, but for an example, when I looked at the train record as the weeping rabbi said, it's the safest way of traveling. So then I said to him, why don't they wear seatbelts? And I was corrected by my own research. Now, if you're in a train, if you're fastened to your seat, you're at more of a risk of injury or certain. So I said, well, you learn something new every day. But what I was saying to him, you know, at this time, when anything happens in this time, it doesn't have to, because we're at war, okay, they might not tell you that you're at war, but we're at war. We're at war, right? So when things happen during a wartime, okay, it's suspect. And anything the media puts out, even myself, must be taken with a pinch of salt. So back to coincidence, yeah? Coincidence. Do you believe in coincidence? Nah. Why? How long does it take for you to, you know, have you ever met someone that you just dislike them straight away? And don't say JTV. Okay. I know what they're like. So you're going to tell me now. The leader of reform received 5 million, right? From a convicted, from a criminal, basically. Right? The man's a criminal. He's convicted. Now, it's not everyone convicted is guilty. But let him sort that out for himself. Let him prove his own innocence. You know what I'm going to say, innit? And we have to tread so careful because I don't put it past people, right? I don't put it past people what people will do. I ain't underestimating no one. We've got the Iranian terrorism group has been is it the IRGC? So they've been added to the terrorism logbook. But who really is a terrorist? All right. So that's another thing. That's another thing. Okay. But things seem to just happen. And it's not like a man decide to leave out of the north of the UK and travel with a long piece of stick to go and bash someone over the head. No. Something fishy. Now, look, man, you have to be, look, imagine if it's your mum or your sister or your daughter, you understand? It's not right. But what I would have wanted is justice. And I truly hope they get justice, because we don't condone such behavior. Okay, we don't condone such behavior, but in the same breath that I take and every move I make. I mean, honestly, man, I'm getting all poetic today, man. The World Cup. Look at the World Cup. Look at the World Cup. Right now, for an example, things can happen for a reason, but the last time, for an example, the World Cup was in Mexico. Argentina won, and my favorite footballer is not Pele. It's the man called Diego Maradona. With all due respect to the great Pele. It's only Gordon Banks. Remember when Gordon Banks saved Pele? Pele was in the yeah, was in the penalty area. Gordon Banks, remember, one eye, wonderful save. Pele, the greatest footballer ever lived. Pele, and he comes second to Maradona to me. Now, the unfortunate tragedy of Maradona is the addiction side of things. And he didn't last long. If you notice, he didn't last long when he went to Mexico. Boy, they man, boy. In OD. And he wasn't so well. And even looking at the footballers, many in the prisons, many in the prison system, right? It's like after you finish your career, say in athletics or whatever you do, then what comes next? You may find yourself in deep water. Again, it's poetic. It's poetic, that. Right. When they leave football, many of the sports stars, and they're searching for that high. When you score the goal, I mean, if you don't play sports, then someone say, well, how could kicking a football, make you feel so good? Well, I tell you, right? There's a word. It's called Europhia. Oh, I'm getting poetic, man. Europhia, that feeling of joy. Maradona scored, right, an infamous goal, right? right? And then he went on to score one of the greatest goals I have ever witnessed. Diego Maradona. Now, what cemented it for myself was what Maradona did after the game. He was asked, what was that? Now, fair play, he's a pico Anglais. Yeah, pico. Right? But he knew these words. He said it was the hand of God. Now, it's fair to say when England, I'm throwing out a little olive branch here to England, yeah? Why they don't play so good. Because everybody wants to beat England. The reason being, right? There is a sense of jealousy, but you know, obviously the English have done all kind of stuff. But they did. There's never been a bigger empire than the British Empire. Everyone else models themselves off the English. Facts. But Argentina will never forget, like, for an example, the Falklands and stuff like that. Yeah. So people have more of a drive to want to beat England, to play better. They're fueled because the Premiership is the best league in the world. All the World Cup players, most of them that are playing well, not all, they're playing the Premiership. And I want to really say, what a brilliant tournament for all the underdogs. Getting poetic again, right? So why Anne had to go? Well, just like Maradona, he got desperate, didn't he? Got desperate, maybe in the later stages of his life. Desperation to search for that Euphoria. Now, when you know your time is up, you start to behave erratically. And with erratic behavior, you may do something unspeakable. Do you believe in coincidence? Early stages of the investigation, you know, for the search for the justice for Anne. And the reason sometimes, for an example, information cannot be given out because people just they'll just be anarchy in the streets. I already said it would be streets of rage. There'll be streets of rage. Now, this thing is it's a dangerous mission, because for example, if you would send young men, young women to fight a battle, armed conflict, and you do not send your own children to the conflict, isn't that an act of evil? If I wouldn't want my son or my daughter to be on the battlefield, why would I want yours? So if they do stuff, anything is possible. Getting bumped off is nothing new. Being bumped off is nothing new. Boy, and I always enjoyed when she spoke. She seemed like a, I like that. I like that, she's a proper English woman, you know what I mean? Muck about. Very outspoken. And I love that. Now, she upset a lot of people, especially the alphabet crew. Yeah, she upset them, man. And I was been listening to quite a few conversations on the radio, and they've been very interesting. The one that really stood out was when Anne defended a man that was he was accused of the unspeakable, and he said he never did it. They said that they had a Westminster ring. Yes, Westminster ring. Right? And I think Anne was the only one that really defended the man, defended him. If I think if it's right or wrong with Anne, if you was right, she would defend you on the right, and if you're wrong, she defend her right to say that he's wrong. Now that's people's business. Now they even said that Anne has very close alphabet friends, but when you upset people, and especially in the world of political saga, you may find decisions made can hit people very, very hard, and that comes down to, look, who's right and who's wrong. It's not for me to decide. What I'm saying is, I find it very unfair that a person can impact my life, right, in a way and there was options that it didn't have to be that way. Yeah, didn't have to. Things don't have to be the way it has to. It is. Now you may say, "Oh well, obviously it didn't go your way, so that's why That's why But I find that a lot of irresponsible behaviour. Right. So I got to 30 minutes now. So I normally, cut my thing down to 30 minutes. So the conclusion, is I believe in chance encounters, but then I also say that there was a reason for why things transpire. But coincidence, right? That's something that I always wonder to myself. That wouldn't be the first time. JTV 0640 on the UK time.